to another What's for Dinner, friends. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to start off with this chili cheese pasta. This was just on a whim. Something like this sounded good, and it was. We had a salad with it and some cheesy bread. I used this cavatappi pasta that I found at Aldi, just cooking that up per the package directions, and I used about half a box, so about 8 ounces is what I was going for. It is so challenging sometimes to just cook for 2 people, so you don't have to have leftovers for days and days. We like leftovers, but I'm telling you, it's hard to cook for 2 people sometimes. So I used a half a box, and then I am using about a half a pound of Velveeta cheese cubed up, and I'm going to let that melt together here in this hot pasta, and then I'm going to start building the rest of this delicious pasta dish. Like I said, this was kind of on a whim. I had some taco meat that you will see some of that later on in the video, what I did with that, and I had some leftover pico, which you'll see later, and I just was trying to think, how do I want to use the rest of this? And I just kind of thought, how about some sort of chili cheese flavored pasta? So I went to Pinterest and Google, looked up several recipes that I took inspiration from, and then I just kind of did my own thing. I'm pretty sure a lot of you do that same thing sometimes. You get an idea and you may not have every ingredient that the recipe calls for, but you can take inspiration from recipes and pull together something that you are able to with what you have. Okay, I added in about, I'd say, a half a pound or so of the seasoned ground beef. Like I said, that was seasoned for tacos, and I wanted to repurpose that meat in some way. So that is what I added in. Like I said, I'll show you the pico here in a little bit. I got that in. That's all kind of doing its thing with the pasta and the cheese. Now, I found a recipe as I was looking for some inspiration that called for using Hormel chili with beans. This is an Aldi brand chili. I happen to have one of these in the pantry, and I thought, okay, that's different. I've never used anything like that before in a recipe like this, and I thought that's going to add some really good flavor. I had some beans in there too, which is good. We love goulash. This kind of makes me think of that. My husband loves hamburger helper. I'm sure there's some sort of hamburger helper that's similar to this. And he also loves chili mac, which is I make with long spaghetti. So this kind of had that similar flavor profile as that as well. So everything is stirred together here. Look how good this looks. It was really, really tasty. This was also grocery day, and so I thought, okay, I'm going to pick up something to go with this. And so I found this box, Motor City Pizza 5 cheese bread. Here's what it looks like coming out of the oven. You bake it in the little baking dish that it comes in. It was really, really good. It has some flavoring underneath the cheese. I'm not quite sure what that one was, but we enjoyed it. The cheese did kind of have a hard time staying on. I even let it cool down before I cut it, but I think it was whatever the little layer underneath was. Just didn't adhere to the bread very, very good, but it was good. It was tasty, and it was a perfect side to go with this chili cheese pasta. And I had some romaine I got cut up to make us a salad. We hadn't had a pasta dish in quite some time. We've been kind of watching our carb intake and having some lower carb meals, and so it had been a good while since I'd made pasta. This was really good. We've had a little bit of cooler temperatures here, and so this felt perfect to go along with that. So look below for a couple of the recipes that I use for inspiration, and click on those links and you can see those and maybe something you want to make. All right, also while I was at Costco, I picked up that delicious sour cream pound cake. I had some strawberries in the fridge. I diced up, put a little bit of sugar on so those would kind of start getting juicy, and this is what we had for dessert. So I knew when I was at Costco the cheese bread would be a good quick addition to dinner, and I don't think I've ever seen these little pound cakes there, and actually they're not little. This is a very big one. It's like an extra long pan there. Look at that. It was so delicious with the strawberries on there. It was just a really yummy dessert. We are going to head up to the barn to get out some meat to go with tonight's dinner, and I thought I would show you some flowers along the way. Our deep freeze is up in the barn, and so as I'm going up there, I thought, you know what, I'm going to show you some of these beautiful flowers. And this, one of the very best parts of summer, is having some color and some flowers growing, and the birds singing. Some of the very best parts. We're up here at the barn to get some meat out of the freezer. I need some ham and some bacon. So there's the bacon. And here is the ham. Oh, ham bone even. Okay, ham bone. Okay. I think that's what we're going to take in. Ham and bacon. Looks like I have a ham chunk in here. I think I'm just going to take the ham bone. I like to keep things in plastic store bags on top of the, the product packaging, because I just feel like it gives it some extra protection in the freezer. Stuff doesn't stay super long, but I want to give it as much a fighting chance as I can. And I'm going to grab this bacon. All right, I'm going to put a split pea soup together. I was telling you that already, I think, if I left that clip in at least, that it's a little bit cooler today. We've had a little bit of a few days of cooler weather, and I wanted to make this split pea soup already, when it was cooler months, but I didn't get around to it. So I thought, you know what, this is perfect for now. I'm going to get this split pea soup made. So in my little jar here, I've got a set of 3 of these. They're all different sizes. So this one is just a perfect size to hold a little bag of split peas. So I'm going to use, of course, those dried peas. I didn't even think I had a ham bone in my freezer, but I did, so I'm gonna put that in there. I know I'll need some chicken broth and carrots, onion, and this will be my very first time to try jarred garlic. I always do garlic myself and use my garlic press, but I was out of garlic, and I don't know that if I'm even gonna like this, but I'm gonna give it a try. I've heard people say it's great. It's a great convenience. I've heard people say it doesn't taste as good and you don't get as much garlic flavor. I don't know. We're going to give it a try. It's garlic water, olive oil, citric acid. I don't know. We'll see. I guess I will form my opinion on it. So I'm going to get this pulled together. I'm going to do it in my Dutch oven. See, I normally do voiceover because I get so chatty when I talk to you guys like this. So, okay. Be prepared for some chatty, because I'm going to record this today and just talk to you guys as I go along. Gonna start sauteing. I don't know why this is looking so dark. Okay, I'm gonna start sauteing these onions in a little bit of olive oil. your house smell amazing. Just fry up some onions. I'm not kidding. It smells so good already. Okay, I didn't chop my carrots real small because this soup will cook for a while, and I don't want the carrots to, you know, get so soft that they're like mush. I mean, they'll be super soft, but I don't want them to kind of obliterate in here. Okay, so this is just going to saute about 2 more minutes, and I'm going to add in my garlic. All right, time to put in the big ham bone. I always, when I take my ham off the bone, this one's a spiral ham, when I know I'm going to cook with the ham bone, I leave enough on there for whatever kind of soup that I'm going to make. And it's either ham and beans, or I do like a potato soup with ham. So I always leave enough on there that's going to be a little bit for the soup, but I don't leave a ton, because as this cooks down, there will be more on there than you even think. So let's get the chicken broth and the peas in. I got a 1 pound bag here that I just transferred to this jar. Those are so pretty. Let's just do a little stir real quick. Woo! Okay. Let's get, I think I need about 8 cups of chicken broth. I'm using this Knorr chicken base, the soup base. So it takes a teaspoon of the dry soup base to 1 cup of water. It says boiling water. I don't need it to be boiling because it's going to go in here and cook all day. So I just stir that together into my water and pour it right on in. Of course, you can use just a regular carton of chicken broth, or whatever kind of chicken broth you want to use. If you have some homemade, woo, that would be even better. Oh man, this is going to be so good. After I spilled it and made a mess for myself to clean up, that's okay. That is part of cooking. Sometimes you make messes. Okay, now all I need to do is pop on the lid. This recipe that I'm following, I will have it linked below. It says to use a bay leaf, which I don't have. Honestly, I rarely have bay leaves because I really don't feel like they make that much difference. That's my opinion. I just don't really feel like they make that much difference. It did call for some pepper. So let's get that in there. And I'm not going to add any salt. The chicken base broth is salty, and the ham will have some salt. So after this cooks and it's almost ready, then I'll check to see if we need any additional salt. Chances are we may not. So it's better to under salt than over salt. Okay. Oh my, this is going to be so good. And then wait till you see what I'm making to go with this tonight. I'm really excited about tonight's dinner. Okay, this takes several hours here simmering low and slow on the stovetop in my beautiful Dutch oven. I'll be back to show you what's happening as we go along throughout the day. All right, guys, here it is. It has cooked down. That's a big ham chunk in there. It is cooked down. I added water to it, maybe 3 cups or so of water to it as it was cooking, because it cooked down and I wanted some more in there. And then, so that's that. I've pulled this over here on my island off the stove, and a little while ago I took the ham bone out and let it start cooling down so I can start working with it. Now, none of this looks super, glamorous, but that's okay. So I'm going to start pulling the meat off this bone, and I'm going to put that right over here in the pot. It is a pretty dreary day out there right now. I feel like I'm not getting the greatest lighting, so I hope y'all can see here what I'm doing, but I'm gonna start getting the meat off of this and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, I'd say all in all, I got about a cup of ham that I pulled off that bone. You just have to get in there and make sure if there's any meat on there, you can find it and get it taken off, and then discard any fat or any tough pieces or anything like that that's on there that you don't want in your soup. Get rid of that. Okay, look at that. So we've got some yummy, chunky ham in this soup. I did taste it. It does not need salt, and I knew that's probably the case, would be the case because of the ham and the chicken broth. It does not need any. If I had put salt, it would have been too salty. So always be careful with that. That's so disappointing. I've done it plenty of times. Over salted, or I didn't know that I was, and then it turns out it was. So okay, so now this is done. We still have several hours before dinner. This cooked probably a little quicker even than what the bag said. So I am just gonna sit this over on the stove, keep the lid on it, and then closer to time to dinner, I'll put it on a low heat and bring this back up to temperature. All right, apparently it is pick meat off the bone day because I'm getting ready to start this now on my rotisserie chicken. I picked this up at Costco. And they have their rotisseries. They are huge and heavy, $4.99. I'm so glad that that hasn't gone up with inflation. It may. I'm surprised it hasn't, but I'm glad it hasn't. But anyhow, those rising prices at the grocery store, just everything seems to be affected, but these are still $4.99. So I bought this yesterday, knowing that I would use it today. And so I'm going to go ahead and get the skin taken off, all the meat off the bones, and I may save the bones to make some bone broth later. I've heard people saying with their Costco chicken that they will just put the bones back in the freezer until they're ready to make some broth from it. So I'm not sure, I may do that. But what I need from this tonight is enough chicken to make some chicken salad. So I am going to start working on this and get it completely taken off the bone. What I don't need for chicken salad, I will put in the freezer. I usually go straight down the center. Just find a spot and work your way through it. Of course, always being careful when you're doing some sturdy work with your knife so you don't end up hurting yourself. But once you get in there, you can just basically get into the chicken, and you have two sides that are matching, top and bottom. So you can go ahead and start working on one side is what I'll do at least, and then I'll start on the other. Okay, there's my two halves. There's the leg quarter, and here's the rest of the wing and the breast. It's pretty easy, pretty quick, and can't beat the price for $4.99. All right, I mostly am using here the breast meat, and I have that all diced up. I am making chicken salad. Look at those beautiful avocados. Those are going in here. This was so delicious. So I'm salting and peppering my chicken salad, and I'm adding in some garlic and some dill. And so This is a little bit of a different take. I almost spilled too much dill in there, but I didn't. I love my chicken salad recipe that I use. It's my sister's recipe, and I don't make it often enough to where I feel like I want to try anything different. But for some reason today, I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a chicken salad recipe, and I had already planned on making chicken salad tonight to go with the split pea soup. And as soon as I saw this recipe, I'm like, yes, I think I have everything to make that tonight. And I did. I am so glad I did. This was delicious. So I will have the recipe typed out down below in case you want to take a look at it and maybe try it. It's a kind of a fun, summery, really fresh chicken salad flavor, or flavors in this chicken salad rather, that just really made a really good combo. We loved it, both of us did. It does not call for mayonnaise. The avocado kind of acts as your binder in that way. The corn was a really fun addition to this. And then bacon. Yes, 6 strips of bacon. I seriously, you want to try this one. It really was delicious. And so here it is, looking all fresh and beautiful. I love the colors especially. Well, sorry guys, I've already been mixing this up and forgot to show you. My camera fell right on off my little, I had my tripod sitting on something so you guys can see me better. Trying something new, my camera fell right off, but I caught it with my arm. Oh, so anyway, okay. I tried this, it tastes so good. I did feel like it needed the rest of the lemon though. So I added that, and it needed some more salt. And I got that in there. I will have the recipe typed out down below. And I really think we're gonna like this. I did not put the olive oil that it called for. I don't feel like it needs it. And what we may do is put a little mayonnaise on our croissant before we eat this. I don't feel like it needs anything extra added in it. You could if you wanted to, I'm sure. But I think it's fine like it is, and a little mayonnaise on the bread. This is very fresh tasting with the lemon juice, the dill, the corn, the avocado. It is good. And of course the bacon always makes things better, right? Okay, so that's gonna go with our split pea soup. Right before it was time to eat, I double checked my recipe and I had forgotten to add in the green onions. And we are big onion fans around here, and I had green onions, so I put those in, and I think it was a perfect addition to this. It just made it taste even better. You know how it is when you're hungry for something, or you are planning a certain meal and you are anticipating that because it's just sounding good to you. Well, that's what this meal was for me. I was really looking forward to chicken salad, and although I switched it up and made a totally different kind of chicken salad, that was so good. I'm so glad I did. And the split pea soup, like I said, I'd been wanting that for a good while. This just hit the spot all the way around. Again, like I said, it's been a little bit cooler. It just was perfect. So it's a little kind of the soup to kind of warm us up, but the chicken salad was so fresh and summery. We love this one. I will definitely, without a doubt, be making this chicken salad again and again. And same can be said for the split pea soup. So delicious. It has like a rustic feel to it. I don't know why, but it does. The smoky flavor of the ham in there. The peas are a little bit sweet, so it's a little sweet, little savory. The perfect addition was these croutons. We ate really good that night. Okay, remember when I said that we had some taco seasoned ground beef from the freezer, and I made this pico? All right, I'm going to show you all about that now. So James actually came into the kitchen on his own, got in the freezer, pulled out the taco meat, and pulled out some frozen pizza, which I'll tell you about that in a minute. He said, how about we have this for the next day or so? It was on a weekend. I usually don't like to do a lot of cooking on the weekend, plus it was a busy one. So here around the house, we just had a little to-do list that we were working on. So I said, hey, perfect. Remember I told you I've been feeling a little uninspired anyway, so I was like, perfect. So to go with the taco meat, I decided, how about some fresh pico? I had a fresh tomato, jalapeno, and onion. And that's so easy to pull together, just to chop those up, season them with garlic, salt, pepper, things along those lines, a little chili powder. So here's the ground beef. We just defrosted that and heated it through again. I chopped up some lettuce, set out the hot sauce and the tortillas, the shredded cheese, and we decided to go for quesadillas. I just put it all out and said, hey, let's just, what sounds good? And we both thought a quesadilla sounded good. So we ended up going that route. Put a little cheese down on the bottom and then a little cheese on the top to hold it together. I put the pico in between. This was really, really delicious. I appreciated James setting that out, and that was just a meal. It fed us for a couple of meals, obviously. We used some of the ground beef in the very first recipe I showed you, but this fed us several times. It was perfect for a weekend. Didn't have to think about things too long and hard, and having things that are prepared ahead like that in the freezer just really comes in handy sometimes. And that was just from a family night where I had made a lot of taco meat and we didn't use it all, so I stuck it in the freezer. So convenient to have those things at the time when you need them. Look at this quesadilla getting all golden brown. This was really delicious. And not long ago we ordered a pizza and had pizza left over, and so I just stuck it in the freezer. James pulled this pizza out and we put it in the air fryer. And if there is any reason to have an air fryer, heating up pizza is probably number one. It turns out as good as when you purchased it. So there's the plate there with the quesadilla and the slice of pizza. And then, like I said, we had a few meals out of this. This is a meal of nachos from the same ground beef. It really stretched, and so we just had a plate of nachos one night to finish that up, and that just worked out so perfectly. And then one night we just had eggs and bacon. This is James's plate. Fresh farm eggs, bacon, and toast. That is always a good dinner, an easy go-to dinner when you don't know what to make. Breakfast or dinner is always a good one. Thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. I hope you got some great ideas, some inspiration, maybe some things you can add onto your meal plan. Give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you've not, and I'll see you in the next one. Good Lord willing and the creek don't rise.